and that they are breathing in for about 5 seconds and breathing out for 5 seconds, but breathing nice and lightly in. So to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to practice that 10 minutes twice a day.
So hello everyone. Today we have a pleasure of welcoming on our program Patrick McKeown, who is an author and director of education and training at the Buteyko Clinic International. And Patrick is a breathing expert who has helped thousands of people to fix their breathing problems. Patrick is the founder of the Oxygen Advantage program, and he has written a best-selling book of the same name. Patrick, welcome to our program.
Thanks very much, Dimitri. It's good to be here.
So I'll start from the questions which are relevant for our audience, because those are the people who suffer primarily from hypertension and anxiety. And the first question is, what kind of breathing exercises do you recommend to perform for someone who is suffering from hypertension?
I think the first thing that I would look at is look at their sleep quality. And when somebody comes into me with hypertension, I often wonder, might this person have a sleep disorder? And could it be sleep apnea? In other words, that they are stopping breathing during sleep. And this will temporarily increase blood pressure, but continuous and chronic sleep apnea, the transient increase to blood pressure becomes more permanent. So sleep apnea can be implicated in causing high blood pressure. Now, then we would look at their sleep, and it's very important to breathe in and out through the nose. And it's also very important to improve functional breathing patterns during the day. How you breathe during the day is going to influence how you breathe during sleep. So we practice breathing light, which is slowing down and softening the speed of the airflow coming in and out of the nose to the point of air hunger. And the purpose of this is to help to reduce the chemosensitivity of the body to carbon dioxide. So when a person has a reduced sensitivity to the gas carbon dioxide in the blood, and it's carbon dioxide that stimulates breathing, their breathing then is typically slower and lighter. And as a result, then it can help to improve their sleep quality because there's less resistance to breathing. So we also, to improve sleep quality, practice breathing with greater amplitude of the diaphragm. And this is connected with nasal breathing. So with more optimal movement of the diaphragm is mechanically linked with the throat. And the throat is less likely to collapse when you're breathing with optimal movement of the diaphragm during sleep. And then to help strengthen what's called the baroreflex, we practice slow down breathing to between 4.5 and 6.5 breaths per minute. So addressing sleep apnea is very important for many people with high blood pressure or anybody who has obstructive sleep apnea. For hypertension, nose breathing in and out is very important, but also helping to bring about a balance in the autonomic nervous system. You don't want the individual to be stressed or it's switched on all the time. So if we think about the autonomic nervous system, we're thinking about two branches. You've got the traditional branch of the fight or flight response, and you have the rest and digest response. With modern society, people can have increased sympathetic drive and can be more likely to be in that fight or flight response. And we practice the same exercise that I spoke about in helping to improve or reduce obstructive sleep apnea: to breathe light, to breathe slow, and to breathe deep. The research in terms of the application of breathing exercises for hypertension mainly focus around slowing down the breathing rate to between 4.5 and 6.5 breaths per minute. And this would involve the individual breathing in and out through the nose. And ideally that they have minimal movement from the upper chest during rest, that most of the movement is driven by the diaphragm, and that they are breathing in for about 5 seconds and breathing out for 5 seconds, but breathing nice and lightly in. So to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to practice that 10 minutes twice a day, If they could do 15 minutes twice a day, it would be better. If they could do 20 minutes twice a day, it would be even better again. With that, you help to improve the sensitivity of the baroreflex, and these are pressure receptors inside the major blood vessels, and they are continuously monitoring your blood pressure. When the baroreceptors are more sensitive, they respond quicker to changes in blood pressure, and as a result, they can help to normalize high blood pressure. So from a breathing perspective, it's our everyday breathing. We can influence hypertension, but we can also influence hypotension by strengthening the baroreflex, and also by looking at the very thing that may be contributing to hypertension: sleep disorder breathing and high stress levels. And it's the same approach: to breathe nose, in and out, both during rest, physical exercise, and sleep, to practice breathing light, to practice breathing slow, and to practice breathing low.
Okay, got it. Patrick, thanks. The follow-up question is related to people who may not have developed hypertension yet, but who have a family history of hypertension and who are kind of high-risk type of audience. Is there a specific difference of breathing exercises which they should be doing as compared to what you just described for people who have already developed hypertension?
No. Those breathing exercises would be used not just for people with hypertension, but those exercises can be used for people with sleep issues, for insomnia, for snoring, for obstructive sleep apnea, and also for many different conditions associated with impaired functioning of the autonomic nervous system. So really what we want to do is we want to improve baroreflex sensitivity. And this is a very good indicator of the functioning of the overall autonomic nervous system. People with diabetes, people with irritable bowel syndrome, people with chronic fatigue, people with depression, people with panic disorder, anxiety, PTSD, asthma, COPD. And there's a range of different conditions. I'm not saying it's a cure-all, but we can influence certain systems within the body. And these are very, very important to maintaining overall good health.
Okay, so just building on what you've mentioned, so you said that the same set of exercises would work for someone with anxiety as well, right?
Yes, they can help very much. And I think it's very important for somebody with anxiety to look at their sleep quality and to improve it. I don't think anybody with anxiety is going to alleviate their anxiety unless they are able to achieve deep sleep. Okay. And also to practice breathing exercises. It's from a number of different dimensions. Practicing breathing light is about gently softening the speed of air as it comes in and out of the nose, to take less air into the body, to feel air hunger. This is exposing the person with anxiety to a slight feeling of suffocation. And this can be very important, getting them to surrender to the feeling of suffocation so that their brain doesn't react so quickly to discomfort. And also to desensitize their reaction to the feeling of suffocation. But also when you breathe slightly less air to the point of air hunger, carbon dioxide increases in the blood. And as carbon dioxide increases in the blood, it helps to improve blood flow and oxygen delivery to the brain. This can have a calming effect on the brain. Breathing low using the diaphragm, because the diaphragm is connected with the emotions. And physiologically, if we are breathing a little bit fast in upper chest, that's putting us into a state of stress. And when we breathe low and slow, it stimulates the vagus nerve, which secretes a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. And acetylcholine causes a slowing of the heart. And when the heart rate slows down, the brain interprets that the body is safe. And the brain will send signals to the body, signals of calm. And we can change that state. So somebody who's feeling overly anxious or stressed, mindfulness is not going to work for the very person who needs it the most. They need to change their sleep patterns, and they also need to change their physiology. And they can do that through the breath.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you. The next question is about the BOLT score. And just wondering if there is a particular significance of the BOLT score for those people who suffer from anxiety and high blood pressure. And is that a good way to measure the progress which they make through breathing exercises on basically to get them cured from those conditions?
The BOLT score is a measurement that's been used since the 1970s, and even before that with Dr. Buteyko since the 1960s. And it's a measurement of the length of time it takes until you feel the first definite desire to breathe. So the measurement would be as follows. You take a normal breath in and out of your nose. You pinch your nose with your fingers to hold your breath, and you time it in seconds until you feel the first definite desire to breathe. And then you let go, you breathe in through your nose, and your breath should be fairly normal. The ideal BOLT score would be 40 seconds. But if you have a BOLT score above 25 seconds, it is an indicator that you have functional breathing patterns. If you have a BOLT score of below 25 seconds, it's an indicator that you have dysfunctional breathing patterns. And if you have a BOLT score of less than 25 seconds, it indicates that your breathing is a little bit faster. It's upper chest, it can be irregular, often through the mouth, and you can feel air hunger. All of these things are going to feed into anxiety and hypertension. So by gently practicing slowing down your breathing to the point of air hunger, and also practicing slowing down your breathing to between 4.5 and 6.5 breaths per minute, and also breathing low with greater amplitude of the diaphragm, this in turn is improving your BOLT score, which in turn is also helping to alleviate anxiety and hypertension. You know that you're making progress based on three things. One is that your BOLT score should be increasing, and you will feel better each time your BOLT score increases by 5 seconds. Number two is that your breathing is lighter. And number three is that you feel better, more energy, calmer breathing, and a calmer state of mind.
Okay, got it. Thanks. And the final question, you're probably already tired of hearing this question, but I cannot stand without asking it because I got these questions from my audience. So how is the breathing patterns which you described are different from what is recommended by Wim Hof Breathing?
Yes, it's a very popular question. Wim Hof Breathing is a stressor to the body, and it's a stressor to make adaptations. So it's hyperventilation for 30 breaths, then exhale, hold until you feel a moderate to strong air hunger, breathe in and hold your breath for 10 seconds, followed by another cycle of hyperventilation. Both hyperventilation and breath holding stress the body. So they can be useful exercises, especially when your BOLT score is above 25 seconds. But if somebody has a BOLT score of 10, 15 seconds, I wouldn't teach them hyperventilation and breath hold exercises. So in terms of breathing, there's two pillars. We want to improve a person's everyday breathing patterns, their functional breathing. And then we also use breathing exercises to stress the body and mind. So they have different effects. So if you're doing the Wim Hof method, great, but also bear in mind your everyday breathing. How should you breathe every day? I don't think it's enough just to stress the body. And the other thing is, what's actually happening when you do hyperventilation for 30 breaths and then a long breath hold? Your blood oxygen saturation during the long breath hold can drop to 60%, even 50% on the third cycle. Is it good to expose the body to such strong hypoxia? Have we ever been exposed to that before throughout our evolution? And even at Mount Everest at rest, what would the blood oxygen saturation be? Would it be as low as 50%? So I suppose, stressing the body and mind is good, but there's a point at which a good stress can become a bad stress. And I think it's important for people to pay attention. Do these breathing exercises suit them? Like, we have a hyperventilation exercise. We do it for 20 breaths instead of 30 breaths. We exhale, hold the same as we do anyway. And then we do the breathe light exercise to recover. that if you are doing stressor exercises, also bring in a recovery exercise. And how are you breathing during sleep? How are you breathing during the day? How is your Bolt score? Those are also very important questions to ask in addition to doing the Wim Hof method.
Okay, so if someone got a Bolt score of over 25, is there
Yes.
a scenario where that person may benefit from doing Wim Hof exercises once in a while?
Yes.
While doing, okay, so it does make sense then to give it a try.
Yeah, like once the Bolt score is pretty high, the person is resilient enough to be able to do the exercises. And if we look at Cox's paper, the Wim Hof method showed that it showed that it influenced the immune system sufficiently to block pro-inflammatory cytokines. So these would be chemical messengers that are triggering inflammation. Okay. And that's a very good thing. Now, anytime we stimulate the vagus nerve, we can help to reduce inflammation. And you can stimulate the vagus nerve by doing light breathing that we spoke about earlier on, by doing slow breathing, and also by doing low breathing, deep breathing.
Okay, got it. So then the final question, your new book, The Breathing Cure, who are the people who would benefit most from this book?
I've got 2 new books, Dimitri. One came out during the week. It's called Atomic Focus. And I'm not sure if you can actually see that one there.
I know, but if you can send it to me. Oh, yeah. Yes, we can see it now. Okay, great. Fantastic.
The Breathing Cure is a very detailed book, and it includes a lot of science, and it's very much a health-oriented book.
Okay.
It's a big book. It's got 190,000 words.
Wow.
And I wanted to try and bring, I can't show you where to see it on the camera.
I'll provide links in the description to the video.
In terms of, we put in chapters for women's breathing, which is different to men's, chapter for epilepsy, chapter for diabetes, obstructive sleep apnea that I spoke about, children's breathing, which is very important, that often gets overlooked. And then Atomic Focus is on high performance breathing strategies to improve concentration and attention span. So it's a helpful book in terms of training your brain to be focused and training your brain to hold attention on one thing, and also to lengthen the time that you can hold your attention on one thing. That it's bringing and incorporating awareness, but more importantly, it's about improving deep sleep and functional breathing patterns, and then breath aware, body aware, and mind aware.
Okay, got it. Patrick, fantastic interview. Thanks a lot for your time. I'm sure our listeners will benefit big time because we so really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thanks, Dimitri.